Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Ram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Ojayam Udiraye
Tato Jayam Udiraye
Srimvatam Swakata Krishna
Shanavatam Swakatha Krishna
Shravana Kirtana
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Hridyantastorya Bhadrani
Hridhayanantasto he abhadrani
Krunoti Sahrit Satam
Vidhunoti suhurtsatam
Ashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashta prayeshva abhadreshu
Yam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhavati Mayishtiki
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Vindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
So we are in the 11th chapter. Last week we covered up to verse 15. We'll continue from there. So Lord is visiting Dvārakā. So the whole Dvārakā was awaiting Lord's visit after many months. And so they were prepared and everybody was receiving very enthusiastically. So there is description of how everybody was looking forward for Lord's visit and how they're receiving. So everybody is individually prepared to receive Lord. That's what is described here. Now we'll start with next verse. Nishamya presthanam ayantam
Nishamya Prestam Nayanantam
tam Vasudevo Mahamana
Vasudevo Mahamana
Akruras Chograsenascha
Akrurashchograsenascha
Ramaschadbhuta Vikrama
Ramaschadbhuta Vikramaha
Pradyumnas Charudeshanscha
Pradyumnascha Charudeshascha
Sambho Jambavati Sutta
Shambho Jambavati Sutaha
Praharsha Vegochasita
Praharshave Gochashita
Sayanashana Bhojana
Sayanasana Bhojana.
Yeah, please read.
On hearing that the most dear Krishna was approaching Dvārakā Dham, magnanimous Vasudev, Akrur, Ugrasen, Balaram, the superhumanly powerful, Pradyumna, Charudeshna, and Sambha, the son of Jambavanti, all extremely happy, abundant, resting, sitting, and dining.
These are all various dear associates of Lord, either family members, either brother or sons. They were all doing various things, but as soon as they learned that Lord has come, so they abandoned everything else and totally focused on Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains who are those personalities. Vasudeva is the son of King Kṛṣṇa, who is also the father of Lord Krishna. Okay? So like that, every personality was explained here. Will not go into detail. What the idea is, everybody was looking forward to Lord, to see the Lord, to serve the Lord. That was the mood of everyone in the Dvārakā city. Varanendram puraskritya
Varanendram puraskashya
brahmanai sasumangalai
Brahmanai samasungalai
shankaturyani nadena
Shankaturyani nadena
brahmagoshena chadrita
Brahmagoshena chartrita
pratyujjatmurathai hrishta
Pratyurchatmurathai Kṛṣṇa
pranayagata sadvasa
Pranayagata sadvasaha
pranayagata sadvasa, saturated with affection. They are very, very respectful, pranaya, but sadvasa, but in that respect also they are actually very, very affectionate towards Lord. So all these relatives, they are very, very affectionate and loving towards Lord, and also very respectful. Yeah, please read.
They
They
had
hasten,
good.
Hare Krishna Babuji. They hasten towards the Lord on chariots with brahmanas bearing flowers. Before them were elephants, emblems of good fortune. Conch shells and bugles were sounded, and Vedic hymns were chanted. Thus they offered their respects, which were saturated with affections.
So this is Vedic way of receiving. In today's world, if somebody has to be received, generally we offer a few words of appreciation on their contributions. It's just a worldly thing, just a few words, that the people speak. But in Vedic times, respect is honored in this, is offered in this way, where there are auspicious symbols like elephant, which is an emblem of good fortune. There are musical sounds like conch shells, bugles, and Vedic hymns were chanted to receive great personalities like this. So it's all a very respectful and very affectionate culture, Vedic culture, and a very rooted in auspiciousness, rooted in Vedic culture. Yeah, please read.
The Vedic way of receiving a great personality creates an atmosphere of respect, which is saturated with affection and veneration for the person received. The auspicious atmosphere of such a reception depends on the paraphernalia described above, including conch shells, flowers, incense, decorated elephants, and the qualified brahmanas reciting verses from the Vedic literature. Such a program of reception is full of sincerity on the part of both the receiver and the received.
We can learn how we respect great personalities, right? How we should respect great personalities from this. Right? If we apply to our own life, we have to see how we can improve our own way of respecting pure devotees, advanced devotees. Varamukyascha satasho
Varamukya
Varamukhyasa chataso
yanaistad darshano shuka
Yanaistad darshano stuka
Sukha,
lasat nirbhata
Lasat
Lasat nirbhata
kapola vadano shriya.
Apollo.
Kapola vadana shriya.
Yeah, please read.
At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads.
So in those days, also there were prostitutes, but they were all devotees. Doesn't mean they. So, but they were officially there, so that people with bad mentalities, they don't. So they were satisfied with these kind of arrangements, right? So they don't spoil the regular society, because there will be people of such needs, and if their needs are not taken care, then they will find evil means to fulfill their desires. So in those days also, society has classes of people who are called prostitutes. They were yeah. So you can read here.
We may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even today, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of Lord Krishna. Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood here with that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dvārakā, where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost. And it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encourages illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions. If there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It's better that prostitutes will be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life.
Yeah, this is the main point here, of course. So what Prabhupada mentioned is there is a need for such arrangements in the society. If not, then unnecessarily some people with bad mentality will spoil the society. So the real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord. And that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. It is a disease condition that one is having such needs to see a prostitute and all. But if their hearts were reformed through bhakti, then such needs will not arise in the hearts of people. Right? So that was the real transformation, real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the Lord, and that will check all kinds of liberating factors of life. Even in Lord Chaitanya's time, one prostitute was sent to Haridas Thakur. You all heard about Haridas Thakur, right? He's a Namacharya. He would chant 192 rounds every single day. So when when a prostitute arrives at his place, the prostitute tried to induce him, but he was totally focused on chanting the holy name. And he tells her respectfully, please wait, I'll complete my rounds and then I'll fulfill your desire, like that. So he will continue to chant, and whole night passes in chanting. The prostitute just sits by the side, and she was just listening. The whole day passes and nothing happens. And so similarly, she comes for 3 days like that. After the third day, her heart was completely transformed by being in close association with Haridas Thakur, just by staying nearby her. And she completely surrenders her life. She want to also continue. She want to join chanting, and she takes initiation from Haridas Thakur. From there onwards, she stops prostitution, and she just completely surrenders her life to Krishna. So that is possible because she got the taste of bhakti. Right? So desiring such things were basically diseased condition of the heart. Right? But when one is enlightened by bhakti, process of bhakti, the power of bhakti, such desires will go away. Such contamination will not be existing. So there were also so many stories. Even Bilomangal Thakur, he was also attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of God. One night, he was coming to visit Chintamani, the prostitute, in a torrents of rain and thunder. Chintamani was astonished to see how Thakura could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilumangala that his attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. Right? It was a momentous hour for the Thakura, and he took a turn towards spiritual relation by the words of prostitute. Later on, Thakura accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master, and in several places of his literary work, he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. So momentarily, he immediately realized the mistake he was doing. Right? So he was visiting a prostitute every night. One day, she learned if only he had such attraction to Lord, his life would have been transformed. And that day onwards, he just becomes a completely transformed person. So he has authored some great literature. Bilomangal Thakur, Kṛṣṇa Rasamrita, which describes the beauty of the Lord. Even Lord Chaitanya would continuously, Krishna Karnamrita, sorry, would continuously hear those poetry. Excellent. He becomes a great devotee after that. Natanartaka Gandharva
Gandharva
Sutamaghada Vandina
Sutamagada Gandhana
Gayanti Chottama Shloka
Gayanti Chattama Shloka
Charitani Adbhutani Cha
Charitani Adhunani
Charitani Adbhutani Cha.
Charitani Adbhutani Cha.
Now there are some great personalities who are actually professional. They actually praise Lord every time. That's their profession, and they also come. They also praise the Lord. Yeah, please read.
Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus they proceeded on and on.
They were all exclaiming Lord in various ways. Please continue, Prabhu.
Such dramatists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and public speakers would dwell on the subject of the Lord's superhuman activities in different ages and millenniums.
Hmm.
All the Puranas are historical facts described only in relation with the Supreme Lord in different ages and times, as well as on different planets also. Therefore, we do not find any chronological order. The modern historians therefore cannot catch up the link, and thus they unauthoritatively remark that the Puranas are all imaginary stories only. Even 100 years ago in India, all dramatic performances were centered around the superhuman activities of the Supreme Lord.
Purana, the word literally means
Old.
Purana means old history. That's what it literally means. And there are also some allegorical stories, which are created stories to teach some lessons to the people, and they were mentioned as such. But literally, the word Purana means old historical facts. But many in the current modern times, right, the so-called Indologists, they interpret Puranas as mythological events which are not actually a truth, right? Which are not historical facts, but are some kind of imaginary word jugglery, right? That's very unfortunate. So these people were there in the past as well. Even 5,000 years ago, there were various types of entertainment people, like dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians. So they were all there. Just like even a few hundred years ago, like maybe 100 years ago, all these drama, art, singing, all of these skills were used primarily to glorify the Lord, because that is purifying. Right? So even like we all saw, we all know about some old movies. You look at all the black and white movies of Indian cinema, they're all mostly related to some pastimes of devotees or some pastimes of the Lord or history of the Lord's appearance or incarnations or something, right? It's always dramas, art, singing, all these were focused from time immemorial only to the subjects of Lord. Because there is so much entertainment, there was so much values, everything is available in one place. So why to sing like Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? It doesn't make any sense, right? So there was such valuable education right now, right away available within our own historical facts. So everybody would be entertained by these dramas in those days. The common people would verily be entertained by the performance of dramas, and yatra parties played wonderfully on the superhuman activities of the Lord. Right? We don't need any other like superhumans, right? Imaginary created superhuman characters of current day, right? Spider-Man, He-Man, so many such Lord of Rings, all these other characters are not really needed because they were factual. They're all perverted reflections of superhuman activities of Supreme Lord. All these modern so-called superhuman characters. But actual superhuman character is Lord himself. So everybody would participate in hearing. Even illiterate people would participate. And they also understand the purpose of life, how to achieve perfection, right? They don't need to be expert in knowledge to achieve perfection of life. Even at present moment, the guides in the in the pilgrim sites of India submit a complete account of genealogical tables before a newcomer. This wonderful act sometimes attracts more customers to receive such important information. Bhagavams tatra bandhunam
Bhagavamstatra bandhuna
Pauranam Anuvartinam
aura
Puranam Anuvartinam
Yatha Vidhi Upasangamya
Yatha
yatha
Vidhi
upasangamya
Upasangamyam
Sarvesham Manamadhade.
sarve
Sarvesham Manamadhade.
Please read. What-
Lord,
Go ahead.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him.
Lord Krishna is very, very personal to each devotee, each personality who approached to offer honor to him. And he approached individuals based on their qualification. If he is a younger one, he would bless him. If he is an equal age person, he is going to embrace him. If he is an elder person, he would fall at their feet. Lord himself would fall at their feet and take their blessings. So in various ways, he was reciprocating according to the person's position. Not only that, in the Vedic times, everything was respected. Not just human beings were respected. Even a table is respected, a laptop or anything was respected, because everything can be used in the service of the Lord, and everything is an expansion of the energy of the Lord. Right? That was the culture. So we are learning about the culture of that society in those times, right? And how they were all receiving Lord himself directly. Yeah. Please read this.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is neither impersonal nor an inert object unable to reciprocate the feelings of his devotees. Here the word yathavidhi or just as it behooves is significant. He reciprocates just as it behooves with his different types of admirers and devotees.
Yeah. So Lord would, are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, Prabhu, we can. I think
Lord,
Mataji's connection.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it's mine. Okay. Because there were some breaks in the middle.
yeah, I could not, Prabhu. I couldn't hear. Yeah.
So as it behooves, Lord was reciprocating with each individual, because Lord is very, very personal. So he, just like that, Lord knows every one of us individually, and he reciprocates according to our situation in our own life. Right? It's not only with the devotees of Dvārakā. Even when we worship Lord within our Nilmadhav Dham, the same thing happens. Lord individually connects with each individual devotee, and the devotee, according to his mood and worship, Lord reciprocates with him.
So, Prabhu, one question over there. So, it says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is neither impersonal nor inert, but impersonalism is a aspect of the God, right? Means like the God can be realized in three stages: Paramatma, Brahman, and Bhagavan, right? So the means the Brahman realization is the impersonal realization, right? So that's also an aspect of Krishna. Right? So
what this means is, you're trying to understand what this means here.
Why is it saying neither impersonal nor? So they are
impersonal. Take it like this, right? He is my personal friend. If you say, what does it mean? Means he understands me. He knows me, and I know him, and we connect on a personal level, correct? So when it is said Lord is neither impersonal, meaning when Lord was passing,
Oh, okay.
he
Impersonal
was
is
connecting with
the
each
difference.
person personally. Yeah, he's not like today. If if Bill Gates walks around and somebody tries to meet him, he behaves in an impersonal way.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't
Okay.
think that his time is worth talking to him, right?
Okay.
Today, even politicians do that. But Lord is not like that. Lord is very, very personal to each individual.
Okay. Okay, got it. The impersonal has to be understood in a different way, not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nor an inert object unable to reciprocate. Prabhupada is telling about the deities, right? Many people think, we don't know whether Lord is receiving our prayers, but actually, Lord is eagerly listening to everything you speak before Him in the temple, right? And in the
Yes.
Archanagraha form, He is personally very reciprocative even in that form. Right? Just that we don't realize because of our own condition. Right?
Okay, Prabhuji, got it. Thanks. Nice explanation.
Prabhuji, another thing is just it came to my mind. Another thing is in impersonal Brahman also there is no concept of reciprocation, right? There's nothing, there is no activity involved there.
Correct. Yeah. In impersonal Brahman,
Yeah.
there is no personal connection for the yogi with the Lord, or for the impersonalist to the Lord. That is the one reason they will fall down to the material world again. Because they could not, the jiva always looks for connection. The heart's, what is heart's longing? It wants to share itself and love. What does it want to share? It wants to express its love, right? If there is no situation where it can express its love, it's not going to last long. That relation is not going to last very long. So that is the reason in the impersonal Brahmajyoti, the jiva it's not permanent position, because the jiva doesn't find the most necessary thing for the soul, reciprocation, in that condition. Right? So the people may think once they achieve impersonal liberation, they may consider themselves to be liberated. Arubhya kuttena param padam gati, but they'll actually come. They think that they got it, but they actually come down after some time, because they could not express their hearts, or the core heart's longing, which is to serve the Lord. They cannot serve the Lord in impersonal Brahmacharya. So that's why it's considered not the highest destination of liberation. Right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Yeah.
Prahvabhivadanaśīlesha
Vabhivadanaslesha
Karasparsha Smitexhamai
Karasparsha
Aswasya Chasvapakebhyo
Ashvasya Chakvapakebhyo
Varaishchabhimatairvibhu.
Varaichābhimatairvibhu.
Please read.
The Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurances and awarding benedictions even to the lowest in rank.
See, he is so personal. Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head sometimes, exchanging greetings. Hello, how are you? Hare Krishna. Lord doesn't say Hare Krishna.
Lord doesn't say Hare Krishna.
Whatever is the custom there, namaste, maybe, embracing, shaking hands. So he is very connecting to everyone, looking, smiling, giving assurances, awarding benedictions, even to the lowest in the rank. Right? So Lord is available directly there. I mean, when Brahma doesn't get to see the form of Lord, that Lord is directly available to people of Dvārakā to witness, talk, love, express their heart, all of this, right? So that's their great fortune. Yeah, please read.
To receive the Lord Sri Krishna, there were all grades of population, beginning from Vasudeva, Ugrasena, and Gargamuni, the father, grandfather, and teacher, down to the prostitutes and chandalas who were accustomed to eat dogs. And even one of them was properly greeted by the Lord in terms of rank, and every one of them was properly greeted by the Lord in terms of rank and position. He descends only to recall these materialistic living beings back to his kingdom, and intelligent persons take advantage of this facility offered by the personality of Godhead to all living beings. No one is rejected by the Lord from the kingdom of God, and it remains with the living beings to accept this or not.
So it is up to the individual jiva if they want to go back. After seeing Lord, if they want to be in the association of Lord forever in their life, they have the opportunity. And that's why intelligent people take advantage of this facility. But Lord is reciprocated to each one. Even to dog eater also he is reciprocated. Chandalas.
So Prabhu, even when Lord is meeting everyone, those who realize him as God go back to him, but those who still don't realize him as God, means just as another person trying to greet them, they remain in the same place, correct?
Right. Yeah, they get accordingly. Yeah.
Oh.
Just like Duryodhana, he also saw Lord. When he saw all the mystic potencies of Lord, he thought, this Kṛṣṇa is magician, yeah, great magician. So that's what he thought. So like that, everybody gets according to their position. Swayam cha gurubhir vipray
Swayam cha gurubhir viprai
sadarai stavirairapi
sadare
ashirbhir yujyamano nyayat
Asirviryujyamano
vandibhis chavisatpuram.
Vandeshatpuram. Then the Lord personally entered the city accompanied by elderly relatives, and invalid brahmanas with their wives, all offering benedictions and singing the glories of the Lord. Others also praise the glories of the Lord.
So now finally Lord is entering the city, accompanied by all these people who are lovingly, affectionately receiving him. Everybody glorified the Lord.
Prabhuji, one thing, Prabhu. Why they use invalid? Why it's used invalid?
Invalid means those who are very, very old brahmanas.
Oh, okay.
So generally, brahmanas were always maintained by other society, people of Kshatriya and Vaishyas. Right?
Okay.
So sometimes old people were neglected in society, but in that society where Lord was there, even they were given value. They were like leading people in it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Such brahmanas were not, so to speak, flatterers of the kings, but the kings were actually glorified by their actions, and they were sincerely still more encouraged in pious acts by such brahmanas in a dignified way.
There is a purpose for which there were brahmanas who would praise the king, but with those praises, the king becomes more attentive to being like that. Meaning, so when the flatterers or the brahmanas, they speak and glorify the king, saying that you are the most kindest person, and you always take care of the necessities of the cities. people. So the king is also obliged to actually, to stand up to the praise that he was receiving. So in that way, pious acts were maintained in the society by such people who were, the Brahmanas, who were by the words of those Brahmanas. Right? Rajamargam gate Krishne
Rajamarga gate Kṛṣṇe
Dvārakāya kulastriya
Dvārakāya Kūlaśriya
Hamyani Aruruhur Vipra
Aryanyaruhur Vipra
Tadikshana Mahotsava.
Tadikshana Mahotsava. When Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from the respectable families of Dvārakā went up to the roofs of their palaces just to have a look at the Lord. They considered this to be the greatest festival.
So Lord was walking on the public roads, and everybody was considering this to be a great festival, that Lord is walking and coming to the city, walking through the streets and going to the palace. And just to witness Lord was considered great fortune and a great festival. In those days, women, they cannot go out of their main door and stare at the Lord. That's not considered etiquette. So women, they would go to the rooftops of their home buildings, and they would actually witness from the rooftop, and they all look at the Lord with great emotion, right? So they all, in their heart, they treat this as the greatest festival, to look at the Lord.
To have a look at the Lord is a great festive occasion, undoubtedly, as it was considered by the metropolitan ladies of Dvārakā. This is still followed by devout ladies of India, especially during the days of Jhulana and Janmashtami ceremonies. The ladies of India still throng up in the greatest number at the temple of the Lord, where his transcendental eternal form is worshipped. The transcendental form of the Lord installed in a temple is not different from the Lord personally. Such a form of the Lord is called Archa Vigraha or Archa incarnation, and is explained by the Lord by his internal potency just to facilitate the devotional service of his innumerable devotees who are in the material world.
So even we do not, so the devotees of Dvārakā have personal visit of Lord directly in the streets of Dvārakā. But we also have the same opportunity when during Julan Yatra or Janmashtami, where when Lord is, especially in, I was in Mayapur during Julan Yatra. Every day they were, in the evening, they would take Lord in a Julan decorated with nice flower garlands, and take Lord in a palanquin in the streets. It was the most beautiful sight, and devotees would do kirtan and dance in the front of the Lord. And one gets the same benediction, whether they witness the personality of Godhead directly or they witness Lord in Julan, during Julan Yatra. Right? It's the same. Archa is actually equivalent to Lord himself. Is not different. Translate.
It appears from the verse that the inhabitants of Dvārakā were all the owners of big palaces. This indicates the prosperity of the city. The ladies got up on the roofs just to have a look at the procession and the Lord. The ladies did not mix up with the Lord on the street, and thus their respectability was perfectly observed. There was no artificial equality with the man. Female respectability is preserved more elegantly by keeping the woman separate from the man.
So that was the Vedic culture. There is no free mixing, unrestricted mixing. Nityam nirikshamananam
Nityam nirikshanamananam
yadapi dvarakau kasham
yadapi dvarakau kasam
navitripyanti hi drisha
na vitrupyanti hi drishaha
shriyo dhamangamachutam.
shriyo dhamangamachutam.
Okay, next 3 verses are, description of the beauty of the Lord. Very beautiful verses. Okay, read this.
The inhabitants of Dvārakā were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satiated.
So Dvārakā is a residence of Lord, and every day most of the people of Dvārakā have the opportunity to witness the Lord. But again and again when Lord passes by, they would witness the Lord, because he is the reservoir of all beauty. Nityam nirikshamanana. They were every day always looking for the sight of Lord, in spite of seeing it every day, again and again. Right? Sriya dhamangam achyutam. Right? Because Lord's beauty is reservoir of all beauty. There is nothing comparable to his beauty. Right? So even though they are seeing every day, their eagerness never is satiated. So they are both satisfied and also not satisfied. They are satisfied that they get the opportunity to see the Lord, because they don't want to see anything else. They only want to see the form of the Lord. They are satisfied in that sense. But how much ever they see, they are never satisfied, because the beauty is unlimited, and every time they see, they get a different angle of vision of the beauty. And so it's ever fresh. So it's both satisfying and also not satisfying. Right? Satisfying in the sense that they get to see the opportunity to see the Lord, and they don't want to see anything else. But at the same time, they were never satisfied, because Lord is so beautiful that they just continue to want to have the vision of the Lord, the beauty of the Lord in their eyes. Always they want to continuously look at the Lord.
The word infallible is significant here because although the Lord has mercifully descended to the earth, he is still infallible. The living entities are fallible because when they come in contact with the material world, they lack their spiritual identity, and thus the body materially obtained becomes subjected to birth, growth, transformation, situation, deterioration, and annihilation under the laws of nature.
So Lord is infallible, Achyutam. He's completely transcendental, spiritual, compared to like people like us, living entities, who are fallible, because when the pure jiva comes in contact with material world, it gets the material body, and therefore is subjected to inhalation. Shriyo nivaso yashora
Shriyo nivaso yashora
pana papram mukham drisham
पानपात्रं मुखं दृशाम्
Bahavo Lokapalanam
बाहवो लोकपालानां
Sharanganam Padambujam
सारङ्गाणं पदाम्बुजम्
Shriyo Nivasha Yashora. Right? Shriyo means goddess Lakshmi. Nivasha Yashora. Where does she Nivasa, where does she reside? In the heart, right? Chest, Uraha, right? Yashoraha. Right? So she stays in the heart of the Lord, right? The chest area. Panapatram Mukham Drisham. Panapatra means a drinking water pot, right? Water pot or a pot where you can have a liquid. Mukham Drisham. So Lord's face is like a pot of water which one wants to drink. It's so beautiful. It's like a pot of water which is ready to be drunk. Bahava. Bahava Lokapalana. Right? And his hands were giving all kinds of protection to all the Lokapalas, all the demigods, like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu. Whenever they are in trouble, where do they go? They go to the Supreme Lord to seek his help. Right? Through his bhujas, through his Bahava, he protects all the Lokapalakas. Sharanganam Padambhujam. Sharanganam means all the pure devotees of the Lord. They always, Saranganam, means who know the essence, Sara. Huh? They always talk about the pastimes of the Lord. Right? Madchitta Madgata Prana Bodayantah Parapara Sayantascha Mam Nityam Dushyanticha Ramanticha. They always derive great pleasure in discussing about the pastimes of the Lord. Saranganam Padambujam. Right? The great devotees are happy just discussing about the lotus feet of the Lord or the pastimes of the Lord. So this is a beautiful verse. Right? Let's read. Please read.
The Lord's chest is the abode of goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes, which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship.
Yeah, such a beautiful verse. So Lord's face is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Here is another beautiful verse that talks about the beauty of the Lord in 44th chapter of 10th Canto. Gopyastapa kimacharam yadamusharup. Gopyastapa kimacharam yadamusharupam lavanyasharam asamordhvam ananya siddham rigdhi pibanti anusavabhinavam durapam ekanta dhama yashah shriya aishwaryasya. What austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes, they always drink the nectar of Lord Krishna's form, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That form is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh, and extremely rare. So this is the beauty of the Lord.
There are different classes of human beings, all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. There are persons who are seeking after the favor of the goddess of fortune. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile. and what they call the sweet songs of the birds are but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. There are administrative demigods in charge of departmental service of cosmic management, and there are tiny administrative gods in the state service. They're always afraid of other competitors, but if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them always from the attacks of enemies. A faithful servant of the Lord engaged in the service of administration is the ideal executive head and can well protect the interests of the people in general. Other so-called administrators are symbols of anchorisms leading to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them. The administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. The essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. He is called the Saram. And Saram. And those who sing and talk about him are called the Sarangas, or the pure devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami, the great devotee Acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. Oh, my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly, therefore, give my bee mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources of all transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees, O Mahadava. I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service of your lotus feet, but because your lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Very well.
Yeah. This is a nice poetry by Rupa Goswami.
Which song is that, Prabhu?
I am not very sure about it. It must be. I was about to look at that. I didn't.
Yeah, looking at that.
We can figure out. We can find out. If you find out, tell us. Yeah. This is a description of the beauty of the Lord. So everything we see in nature, we can relate how it's actually a reflection of beauty of Lord. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile, Lord's smile. What they call the sweet songs of birds are but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. So everything has connection with the Lord. We need to see that connection. When we see something beautiful, something admirable, we should not see it exclusively independently of God. We should always see in relation to God. When we see that, that makes it Krishna conscious. Then you are Krishna conscious in that moment. It's the beautiful description of Lord's beauty. Sita Patra Vyajane Upaskrita.
Sita Patra Vigner Upakskrita.
Prasuna Varshe Abhivarshita Pati. Sangavasa Vanamalaya Bhabhav. Ghano Yatarko Dupa Chapa Vaidjutai. So this is a description of while Lord was walking. The scene was described here. Right? What are the various things that are seen in that place was described here. Please read. Yeah, okay. Please read this as the
As the Lord passed among the public road of Dvārakā, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircle and showered the flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows.
Hmm. Look at the description here, so beautiful here. His head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. Everybody was throwing flowers, and his yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud was surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Generally, this combination doesn't occur together. Sun, moon will never be together, right? Again, this combination is possible only for Lord, because Lord is inconceivable. So anything can happen when we describe Lord, and it is inconceivable nature of the Lord that such thing can happen. So yeah, please read. Actually, read from here.
The sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. When there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant. And if there is a cloud, if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella over his head is compared to the sun. The movement of the bunch hair fan of flukes is compared to the moon. The showers of the flowers are compared to the stars. His yellow garments are compared to the rainbow. So all these activities of firmament being impossible, simultaneous factors cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of an inconceivable potency of the Lord.
Only when we understand that Lord is inconceivable and his potencies are inconceivable, can we understand such a description here. So all these factors are appearing together in sky. Yeah. Okay. This is the plan for today. Any questions so far in what we discussed?
Very sweet discussion of the Lord.
Thank you, Anandaram Prabhu. I saw you sent a link.
Yeah, but I'm not sure, Prabhu, if that is the actual one.
We'll verify. Oh, it doesn't seem like the
Yeah. In first slides, it says, please let the bee of my mind be offered to the nectarian honey of your lotus feet. But here, it's comparing to the face of the Lord, right? Mind is like the bee, and it is offering something.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Anything else? We'll end the class here.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Dvārakā ki jai.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu.